Hello guys, welcome back to another video. This time I'm actually gonna give you some tips and tricks on how to build houses. And if you don't trust me, just have a look for yourself. Over here I have my first house on this world actually. Ignore that is not mine, that's my sister. She's not the best at building like me. This is mine. But we ignore these two. And we're gonna focus on this type of style, this more classic style I like to say. So the first tip is on the shape. I'm just gonna tell you, do not build a square house like this. You can, but please don't. It's really ugly and it's a really easy fix. Just, if you already have a square like this planned out, just add some more squares. Just add some more squares along, and the front pieces should either be should only be an odd number. I like to say the front should always be an odd number. So here I have 3, but if I just do it like back here, it will look really awkward. So what you do is you just add 2 more, and now you have 5, which I think is enough. And if you still think this is a bad shape, just add another one. So make sure that you use odd numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not an odd number, so just move it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Not an odd number, moving back. So if you just change it up and like add more squares, make sure it's an odd number. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go 5 here. And let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 maybe. I really recommend adding odd numbers. For here, this is too big, I'd say, so just cut it off. Cut it off, make it a bit different, like this. You can only have odd numbers, but the only exception is 2. 2 is kinda okay, unless it's a front. Obviously it's not gonna be okay, but if you just want like a tiny edge, it's fine. We have another 2. This is 3, this is 3, 3, and 2. So it's pretty symmetrical on this side. So this is just a basic shape. It works pretty well. And please add framing. Now many people will say, make your framing indented into the wall, like this, which I do. But if you don't want to, it's okay. It's a lot. It gives you less space, and it's quite a bit harder to do. It's more resource manual in survival. So you can just do this. It's fine. Just make sure you decorate well. Like if you see over here, I have flat walls. These are just flat walls, and it still looks pretty good. And over here, I have indented walls, which I do like more. But if you want to use the flat walls, you can. This is just better sometimes. But if you really low on resources and are a bit unmotivated to waste more time, it's okay to go with the flat wall. But for this example, I'm gonna use the outside. And next tip, make sure your houses are more than 3 blocks tall. This is 3 blocks, so it's gonna be really low and you're just gonna bump your head. So just make it go up again, which I'll actually do twice because I like having it higher up. But if you want, you can make it 1 lower than this. Just the rule is taller than 3. So you just frame around the whole build, and then this is another tip you don't really need to do, but I like adding these at the fronts like this, getting a button, and then fence gates, and then a fence with a lantern hanging off it. It's a really simple design detail. Just add this, connect it, add the buttons, and on the fence you just add a lantern. And by the way, if you're really worried about the odd and even numbers, it's fine, like a little bit okay to add even numbers. But I mean, this one looks a lot worse than this one, but it still looks okay. It still looks good. It's functional. Only problem I have is these 2 lanterns. I just wanted to have one of those hanging lanterns here as well, and it was a bit harder, but it worked. Just make a doorway, And for windows, let's continue on framing first. So just continue framing normally. Just go around the whole house and just continue framing it. I usually do the frame first, but it's easier to map out your floor plan with just blocks of this and then you frame it. For these type of corners, which are ones that I did over here, it's okay. Just make it go out again. It's fine. It's okay to have a double one here. Just frame it around. I only do this front. Okay. If you're going to build a second floor, please make sure that you're just not outlining the floor plan. Look, if you look closely, what do you see? You see the original shape, right? Maybe this is a bit distracting. Let me just fix this. This is not that good of a shape. Okay, that's a better shape. Look, what do you see? You see the original shape over there. So when you're building the second floor, just use this shape. Don't worry about these extra bits and bobs. You can cut it out a bit more, like if you want to cut it from here or over here, it's fine. But if you really don't know how to shape your second floor, when you're doing this method of shaping your ground, just take in consideration the original shape and ignore these shapes. But it's fine to have square second floors. I think they're fine. This one is a lot better since it has an indent, so I recommend if you have like a huge platform, indent it. Don't just add the squares only, indent it to have like a more sleek shape, not very big. But if you're using, even when you're making a huge house, still add these indents. It'll make your second floor look so much better. So for this example, I'm gonna do the framing for like from over here. So you just make it go around. This is not a part of the second floor, nor this. So these are just not a part of the second floor at all. Now you go up like you would normally do. Make sure it's higher than 3 blocks. This time I'm gonna be one lower. You can have some variation in your second floor and your first floor. It's fine. And look, this looks so much better if you were just to copy it on top again. So you can actually have proper roof points. Yes, it'll be harder to add windows, but if you really want windows on the front, instead of just making this a roof, just make it a balcony or something. It's completely fine. I do not recommend adding balconies like above the doorway. I feel like the door always needs to have a roof point. It just looks so much cleaner. It works better. Like I don't think if it look kind of awkward if there was a balcony instead. And when you're making like this part is not gonna be a part of the second floor, right? So I would make it higher, like change it up a bit, vary your heights and stuff. It's really simple. The next tip I'd give is get a similar color to your framing. Just add some upside down stairs like this. If you're going for this style. For this, just leave it and like that, and we'll get to windows later. This wall will have a window. Let me just do that. Also, when you finish the walls of the second floor, remove these. It will just clean up a bit, make it like a house, a proper house. So this will have a window over here, right? Add the space for the window. Some people that don't like using this method, the problem is that the windows goes. That used to be my problem before I moved to this style. My problem was I didn't like the fact that it just reaches the wall immediately, especially when it goes towards another window. There's only one block. But I've gotten used to it now, and it still looks really fine. Like if I go inside here, this house, I will make an interior video on this where I do the interior with you guys. So if you see, the windows are just going against each other. Some people think it looks ugly, but like I used to, but now it looks completely fine, and I like it much better. I mean, it's not better than the original, but I like it because of the exterior look. So I feel like it's okay. And when you're adding the windows, please use paints. Don't use the full glass blocks. And in survival, it's even cheaper than you can get 16 panes from just 6 glass blocks. It's cheaper. So I don't know why people use blocks. Are they lazy? I don't know. And when you decorate the windows, you can either do this and add trapdoors above. Just get a trapdoor and add trapdoors above like this. Or you can add windowsills, or you can combine the two like I did. Like that. You can add, and why do I keep calling this a windowsill? It's a shutter. Yeah, a shutter. Look, I did it over here. Or you can, if you want, let me just get the slab. If you want, just make like a simple little like frame around the windows. So I would use slabs above and under the windows like this, add a trapdoor here and here, and like this. The only problem I have with this window type is I can't really have a stair over here to frame it better like I did over here. For the doors, it's fine to do this simpler because they're lower down and they work better for this reason. And when you make your windows, make it 1 block lower than the frame and 1 block lower and 1 or 2 blocks higher than the ground. That last part doesn't really matter. Like over here, you can make it as high as you want. Just add like a decoration under. Like that window won't fit that grass. But if you have like a 2 blocks or 3 blocks even, doesn't really matter the height. Just add some grass like this. And if you're at 3 blocks, like over here, you can do this. Like I mixed all three together. Added upside down stairs and 2 trapdoors. And when you do add the grass, you have to put a 1 or 2 block trapdoors. If you have an even number, do 2. If you have an odd number, do 1. And do some signs like this. And when you're doing your frame, put trapdoors. The reason you don't just do all trapdoors, which can look good sometimes if you don't have this, or if this goes out like this, and it's a stair above. You do not do this because it just looks really awkward next to each other. So I would put a sign instead. And you can do this where you put signs in the middle between the trapdoor and you can do that. And next I will break into some roofs. So make sure you have at least 2 blocks for your roof. So let's go with some cobble. How about cobble? It's really simple. So I recommend making like the outer layer kind of similar color to your framework. And obviously I recommend adding like planning your roofs, because in case like you have a roof over here, so you obviously can't put windows here, so you can't just already put windows here and then go start your roof and you can't place it and it will look really bad. So plan it, see where the roofs will go, how they will fit, and what they do. So it goes here, and then you can use this as a second color for the inside. It just makes it look more structural. And you can either do this on the top of the roofs or just do slabs, like over there. See the difference? Some stairs and just some slabs. If you want a smoother look, go with the slabs. If you want a more rustic style and medieval style, go for the stairs. So you just do your outline. And this is why you need an odd number for these. It's easier to make the roof. Like if I look over here where I made the mistake, the roof point is cleaner, yes, but I can't have this weird part is kind of awkward and hard to work with, and so and not only the roofs but also decorating. It's like easier to have one thing, which is an odd number, which will work better. You can mix it up. So if you're stone brick stairs, you can add this if you want. A lot of people recommend you should, and I do it sometimes, but I don't do it all the time. I find it sometimes messy, and it does look better in my opinion sometimes. Like, look at the difference. Yeah, I especially like mixing blocks with cobblestone because cobblestone has a really rough texture, so I like mixing other stuff with it to smooth it out and polish it a bit. Especially with cobblestone and stone stuff like this. Again, and also when you're building these, and don't just, if you're making the outer roof, don't just fill it like this. It will look really weird. So what you should do is also move this back. It should match, so it'll look like this frame is actually a frame, not a holding piece. And then for the underside, I say just make it the same thing as the top of this outline. It just makes it connected. So the outside will just be the secondary color. Inside will be the primary color all the way through. Can add windows, but this is just a little small for a window, so I wouldn't add a window there. Also, if you're doing the interior, plan out your layout what you want, but I might make an interior video later, not now. So these are the simple roofs. So the next tip is also still roofs, and vary your roof shape. Like see here I have like this, I don't know what it's called, this like stretched out roof where you just do the same thing, but between each stair and upside down stair, add a block, and also make sure to extend your stairs outward. You see, since this is like very deep, so it'll be a double stair thickness. But if you're doing this, just make it one out. Like if you're doing this, it will be a much easier. If you're doing like this thing, if you don't have to do it, but if you are doing this thing, it's a lot easier to make the roof, in my opinion. Like it's easier to plan and know where it goes. So here I have many different, like the classic A. You have like a weird arch curve. You have the other stretch, and these like this mustache one, and this one have this like bell one. I think that's what it's called. This bell. But this one is mostly the A roof, which is okay. You can use one, but it's better to add more than one, in my opinion. It's all depends on what you like. Just giving you my opinion and see what you like. I usually add steps to my doorways. It just makes it feel more grand. Like look at this one. I decided to make a very like a lot higher door. So when you go inside, it is actually one above everything, so you have to take a step down. Which is fine, and you can do this. Like, look at all my houses over here. They all have a step up to the door. They don't just have it on the floor. You can have it on the floor, it's fine, it's completely fine. I just like having that little detail. It makes it feel like it's actually placed there and actually meant to be there instead of just plopped down there. Like, look at this compared to just like an empty wall. It'll be so much better. And don't forget these. And for the trapdoors, you can add these if you want. I like them really nicely. Here I would add some signs, but this is just an example, so I'm not gonna work on this too much. But you can just add these. You can add some more decorative items, like add some plants. Like over here, you can add a lantern and a plant pot or something if you're doing this. Yeah, it's really easy and simple, and if you want more a closer look at these buildings, you can check out my Instagram. It should be down below. And also, if you have World Edit installed, there's a way easier way to texture your walls. There's like a way easier way. So you just bring up your wand. Here, let's say I have a wall that's this size. So I want it to be a bunch of gray blocks, so I would say /set. Let's get stone bricks. Wait, I made a mistake. So between each one, add a comma, and then bricks here, comma, and let's go polished andesite. So this is a way easier way to mix them up. Just between each block, don't add a space, add commas, and I will do it straight for you. And I like using this palette if you're making a tower or something. If I'm doing walls, I'll just do normal andesite and maybe some cobble. Like this is what I do for walls. If you want the other one, I recommend doing this for like towers and stuff like that. Do at least just do 2 or 3 blocks. If you're making a huge house or like a very big one, use more obviously, but for this like basic size, I recommend using 2 or 3. Like for this one, let's say /set oak planks. Wait, I forgot to planks and stripped oak wood maybe. There. Now you can add your door back And look, it adds texture. It looks so much better than the flat wall. You should add texture. And with that, that's it for the exterior. Now, I'm gonna do the interior later, but now I'm gonna do the place around it. If you don't have much time to build stuff, I don't recommend building a custom tree all the time. I mean, I do recommend if you have the time and if you really want to. But if you don't have all the time, I just say just bone meal some trees around. It'll still look good. You don't have to make a custom tree. A lot of people say you have to do it, but you don't really. And if you want mini trees, you just add a fence with some leaves on top. It looks like a mini hedge tree, something like that. And add like a front yard. You can bone meal all around your house. If I get some bone meal, just bone meal around your house, and it'll still look good. If it looks too excessive, just remove the tall grass. The tall grass doesn't make it looks a bit too excessive. If it looks too excessive to you, and it looks like it's kind of a part of it. It'll look a lot nicer. So these are the examples I have for you, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye bye.